On November the 4th last, 58-year-old Arthur Simmons was walking home from his local public house shortly before 9 o'clock. As he took a short cut through a narrow alleyway, he was attacked by two men. One of the men held him from behind, while the other man ransacked Mr. Simmons' pockets and found a wallet containing £2 and some loose change. The two men made off, leaving Mr. Simmons uninjured but badly shocked on the ground. However, as the attackers ran out of the alley, they collided with 63-year-old Mrs. Winifred Palmer. After beating at them several times with her umbrella, she chased them up the street some distance before returning to tend to Mr. Simmons. Mrs. Palmer accompanied Mr. Simmons to the main street of the neighbourhood, where they found Police Constable Kershaw. P.C. Kershaw took them along to a local youth club, catering mainly for the black immigrant population of the area. Mr. Simmons and Mrs. Palmer identified two youths as the assailants. The trial of John Harold Dempsey and Colin Clive Langham has just opened in Fulchester Crown Court, where they're charged with stealing with the use of force. They're pleading not guilty. Arthur Simmons is now in the witness box.
Now, Mr. Simmons, what is your profession?
Well, I used to be a storeman.
I understand you're retired.
Yes.
And would you tell the court why you're retired?
I didn't have much choice.
Just the reason, Mr. Simmons?
Well, 2 years ago I had a slipped disc. My back's never been the same since, so... Well, I'm not much good humping things about in the stores, so the firm let me go last year.
You live alone, do you not?
Yes, ever since my wife died 10 years ago.
How do you spend most evenings?
I stay in mostly, except for a quick drink at the pub. I cook a bit of supper, watch the telly if there's anything on, and then I go up to the Three Bells for a pint.
That would be the Three Bells public house on Thurston Street.
Yes.
You do this every night?
Most nights, yes.
And how long do you usually stay at the pub?
About half an hour.
That's all?
Well, I only ever have one pint of bitter. You can't make a pint stretch more than half an hour without making it look obvious.
Without making what look obvious?
That you've got nothing better to do. Or that you don't have any money to spare for a second.
I see. Let us come now to November the 4th last. You went as usual to the Three Bells?
Yes.
You had your pint, took the usual amount of time over it?
Yes.
And you left about...
I left just before 9.
How can you be so certain of the time?
Well, the pub's got a television set. They said the next programme after the commercials was the one I always watch at 9 o'clock, so I drank up and left. I can get home, taking the shortcut in just a few minutes. I was going back to watch it.
So you left the pub a few minutes before 9 o'clock and you took the shortcut home?
Yes.
And do you normally take that particular shortcut?
Not always.
Why not?
Well, you hear things.
What sort of things, Mr. Simmons?
It's a bit rough these days where I live. It's gone downhill.
So, on November the 4th last, for the sake of expediency, you took the shortcut home.
Yes, I wish I hadn't now.
Would you now tell the court in your own words what took place?
Well, I was going down the alley. It's not very far. I mean, when you look down it, you can see the other end easily. But there are some kind of little,
recesses?
Yes, halfway down. Never did know what they were for. But that's where those two were hiding.
Mr. Simmons, you must only answer the questions you're asked, otherwise you may say something you shouldn't.
But it was them.
I repeat, only answer the questions you're asked.
Mr. Simmons, two men leapt out of you at you from the shadows.
Yes.
How did they go about it, these two men?
Well, suddenly there was a lot of scuffling. And the next thing I knew, someone had an arm round my neck, like this. They pulled me backwards.
Yes, go on.
Then this same bloke, the one behind me, he got his other arm and he linked it up through mine, sort of pinned me to him. Then he took the arm from my neck and he did the same to my other side.
They held you in a full Nelson?
I don't know.
One arm coming through here and here, up.
Well, why don't you show us, Mr. Elliot? Perhaps you could use a live model.
Certainly, my lord.
I'm sure the constable won't arrest you for assault. That how you were held, Mr. Simmons?
Oh, yes, sir, that's about it.
Is that exactly it?
Well, as far as I can remember, yes, sir.
As can be noted, my lord, a full Nelson is an extremely difficult hold to break out of.
Yeah. Yes, thank you, Constable.
Ah, Mr. Simmons, while the men held you in that position, what happened?
Well, then one of them began going through my pockets.
What were you wearing?
I had on my jacket and my trousers.
Top coat?
Yes. Yes, it was cold that night.
How did either man speak while they were searching you?
No. No, I know one of them, the one behind me, he was breathing real heavy, sort of panting. His mouth was right next to me ear.
Could you estimate how long they held you while they were going through your pockets?
Well, seemed like forever, but I suppose it couldn't have been. Then the one in front of me, he tried my top coat pockets, then he went into the inside pocket of my jacket. When they found my wallet, they let me go and ran off. And it couldn't have been even a minute when you think about it.
Now, can you recall what happened after they ran off?
Well, I know when he let me go, I fell down. Oh, the way he held my neck, it made me see stars. I thought I'd passed out, but I remember hitting my knees hard down on the ground. But after that, well, it all seems blurred now. I don't remember much till Mrs. Palmer was helping me up and we came out onto the street.
And then?
Well, we found a policeman, Mr. Kershaw, told him what had happened.
Mrs. Palmer then stayed with you?
Yes. Oh, she was very good to me. I might still have been lying there if it hadn't been for her.
After telling the constable of the attack, what did you do then?
We went with him to a youth club.
And what happened there?
We went inside. The constable spoke to the man who ran it, and then all the people, the boys inside, they lined up against a wall, and we looked at each of them.
We?
Mrs. Palmer and me.
And my next question is most important, Mr. Simmons. Did you positively identify the two men who had attacked you only a few minutes before?
Yes.
You have no doubt as to their identity?
No, sir.
And do you see those two men in court today?
Yes, sir. It was them. Those two in the dock.
Mr. Simmons, I represent Mr. Dempsey. You say you identified both the men in the dock as those who attacked you.
Yes.
And that one held you from behind in a full Nelson lock, whilst the other stood in front and rifled your pockets.
That's right.
Who stood in front of you?
Him.
Are you pointing at Mr. Langham?
The smaller one, yes, Langham.
Did you then get a good look at the man who stood behind holding you?
I recognised him.
But how? You say that Mr. Dempsey was standing behind you the entire time during the attack. How could you identify him?
Well, Mrs. Palmer did. I agreed with her.
Who picked out Dempsey first, Mr. Simmons, you or Mrs. Palmer?
Oh, she did, sir.
You agreed that Dempsey was one of the men?
Yes, sir.
Well, why did you agree with her?
Well, it was his scent, sir. He had some hair oil on. I recognised the smell. I could still even smell it on my coat.
And there will be evidence that the hair oil worn by my client is very popular with black use at the club. It's a cheap brand that can be bought anywhere.
Yes, I'm still not quite clear about the identification. Mr. Simmons, if you weren't the first to identify the defendant, Dempsey, were you at least first with Langham?
Oh, yes, sir. No doubts about him.
Mr. Simmons, was the alley well lit at the point where this attack occurred?
No, it was quite dark.
Nevertheless, you identified these two men. While you were doing this, did anybody say anything to you before you made your selections, I mean?
Well, who, for instance?
Well, Constable Kershaw.
No, sir. No one.
Thank you, Mr. Simmons.
Mr. Simmons, I'm representing Mr. Langham in this case. You did identify both men, I take it? Or you hesitate?
Well, I definitely recognised him.
You're pointing at Mr. Langham.
You're a bloke, yes.
Yes, but how could you be so sure?
Well, he was the one standing in front of me. He was the one going through my pockets.
Yes, but you've agreed with prosecuting counsel that you were held in a grip known as a full Nelson.
Well, if that's what they call it, I don't know.
But you say you looked directly at the man who stood in front of you.
Definitely.
Can I ask Mr. Dempsey to stand for a moment, please? You'll agree, I think, Mr. Simmons, that Mr. Dempsey is considerably taller than you are.
I suppose so.
Yes, well, this is rather important, you see. My lord, may I demonstrate something to the court? I have my own subject.
I found you always come prepared, Mr. Simmons. Proceed.
Now, there's quite a difference in height between my instructing solicitor and myself. Almost as much as between Mr. Simmons and Mr. Dempsey. Now, if I apply a full Nelson to him and then exert pressure, because of the height difference, his head is forced downward. He cannot, in fact, look straight ahead of him. He can only look at his own feet.
Are you all right, Mr. Williams?
Yes, my lord.
Yes.
I apologize, my lord, and to my friend Mr. Williams, but my point could only be made by bringing pressure to bear upon the full Nelson. When the man in control is taller than his subject, the victim's head is necessarily forced downward. Now, Mr. Simmons, according to your evidence, you were able to look directly at my client, Mr. Langham. Can you honestly still maintain that?
It was him.
In the dark, pitch dark, terrified, in an incident that took less than a minute, you can truthfully say that you saw Mr. Langham long enough to be able to pick him out instantly at the youth club. When you and Mrs. Palmer went along the line, did you go together or separately?
Well, she came up behind.
Mm-hmm. And during this parade, did Constable Kershaw speak to you?
Not that I remember.
Thank you.
No further questions, my lord.
You may stand down, Mr. Simmons.
Call Mrs. Winifred Palmer, please.
Winifred Palmer, please.
What is your religion?
Church of England.
Take the testament in your right hand and read aloud the words on this card.
I swear by Almighty God that the evidence I shall give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
You're Mrs. Winifred Palmer of 17A Forest Mansions, Birkin Road, Fulchester.
That's right.
Mrs. Palmer, how long have you lived in Fulchester?
Ever since I was a little girl.
Let us come now to what happened last November the 4th.
Those two young thugs jumped on Mr. Simmons.
Mrs. Palmer, please wait for my questions. You were walking down Clayton Street, I believe, into which the alley known as Paradise Way runs.
I was walking there, all right.
At about 9 o'clock.
Yes.
Now, taking it one stage at a time, and without rushing, will you tell the court in your own words what happened as you passed the alleyway?
Well, I was coming past the alley entrance when I was just about knocked dead over heels by them two big lads sitting there. They came out of that alleyway like nobody's business, not looking where they were going, mad-like. Well, I wasn't having that. What are you on, you great big lummox, I said, and I started hitting them.
With your...
With my umbrella. Oh, mind you, I didn't hit them very hard. I just sort of poked at them with the end.
You didn't want to hurt them?
Hurt them? I couldn't care less about that. Didn't want to break my new umbrella.
Go on, Mrs. Palmer.
Well, while I was doing that, I looked beyond them lads, and I saw Mr. Simmons lying on the ground. It was awful.
Did you know at once that it was Mr. Simmons?
Oh, no. How could I? All I knew, there was somebody lying on the ground, moaning like a dying animal.
Mrs. Palmer, you were laying about the two men who almost knocked you down.
Well, when I saw they'd bashed somebody, I got really mad. I mean, I've lived round here all my life. There's a lot moving, creating trouble, bashing innocent people.
Please, let's stick to the details of that evening, Mrs. Palmer.
Oh, sorry. Well, then them two lumps ran off, running for their lives, and I went after them. I was shouting to try to make somebody hear, but there's hardly anybody about. They were round that corner in half a tick.
I know this is a difficult question, but how long would you say you were fighting them?
Oh, they didn't get by me in a hurry, I can tell you.
Mrs. Palmer, how long?
Well, about a minute, at least. Oh, at least.
And during that time, did you get a good look at both assailants?
I did.
After the men made off, what did you do then?
Well, I came back to see the poor soul they'd bashed up, naturally. I was amazed when I saw it was Mr. Simmons. Poor old chap, he looked in an awful state lying there, moaning away.
Yes. Then what happened?
Well, thank the Lord he wasn't badly hurt, so I got him to his feet and we went to look for Constable Kershaw.
Whom you found?
On the high street, doing his rounds, and I told him all about it.
And what did the officer reply?
He said he bet he knew where he could find them.
Where was that?
That youth club they run on the high street.
Now, that would be the youth club used by the young people in the area.
Aye, noisy devils, you can hear that black music a mile off, deafening row. Not that they care.
Mrs. Palmer, you must stick to answering my questions.
Sorry.
Did you go with P.C. Kershaw to the club known as the Kingston Beach Youth Club?
I did.
And what happened there?
They were there all right, bold as brass.
Who were there?
Them two sitting there.
And how did you identify them?
Well, Constable Kershaw lined all the men up and we picked them out right away.
So Constable Kershaw arranged for you and, I take it, Mr. Simmons, to look at this lineup of young men.
Yes.
Now, was there any doubt at all when you selected the two defendants, Dempsey and Langham, from this lineup?
No, none whatsoever. I knew them right off, right away.
And you do see them in this court today?
Well, of course, that's what I've been saying all along. It's them two sitting over there.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Palmer.
You immediately recognise Mr. Dempsey.
Oh, well, which one's that?
Don't you know? Mrs. Palmer, could it be that in common with many other white people you find it hard to tell one black man from another?
My lord, that is an unwarranted assumption made by my learned friend on the basis of one innocent and reasonable reply from this witness.
Is that the nub of your cross-examination, Mr. Fry?
No, my lord, but it is an important aspect which I would have pursued later.
Yes, I appreciate you took what seemed an opportunity to bring the subject forward in your argument, but I should prefer you to deal, if you so intend, with the more material evidence first.
As your lordship pleases. Mrs. Palmer, you say that you fought with these two men for at least a minute.
That's right.
Now, I don't wish to take everything you say too literally, but could it possibly have been for less than a minute?
I said a minute, and I mean a minute.
And I'm sure you believe that. However, Mrs. Palmer, I'd like you to understand fully what a minute consists of. I don't intend to waste the court's valuable time, my lord, but let me time for you, Mrs. Palmer, what even a quarter of a minute is. 15 seconds, starting from now. "15 seconds, Mrs. Palmer. Now, are you saying that you fought those two men with the tip of your new umbrella, looking them firmly in the eyes all the time for a period lasting 4 times as long as that?
Well, it was long enough to get a good look at both of them.
Did neither of the men retaliate?
Oh, bullies are all the same. When you give back what they hand out, they don't like it.
So you're saying that they did not hit you back. Now, coming to this so-called identity parade, during the parade, did Constable Kershaw say anything?
Not a word.
Nothing at all?
Nothing.
You seem very sure of that.
I am sure. I'd know them anywhere.
Thank you, Mrs. Palmer.
Mrs. Palmer, you've said that Mr. Simmons preceded you along the line. He went first.
Oh, yes.
Yes. Now then, how far behind were you?
Just behind, that's all.
Yes, but is it not true, Mrs. Palmer, that you and Mr. Simmons went along the line of youths virtually together?
No, he went first. He picked out Langham.
Was it not the fact that Mr. Simmons merely stopped alongside Langham to take a closer look, to think twice, to reflect carefully? And was it not that pause on his part that made you pick out Langham and say it was one of the men you saw?
I'm not blind. My eyes are as good as they were when I was a kid. I've never had any trouble with them. You ask anyone. If I say I saw him, I saw him. The same goes for the other one, too, the lanky one. Those were the two who done poor Mr Simmons.
My lord, Mrs Palmer is here as an eyewitness, and one who had a much better chance to look at and identify both assailants. Now, the suggestion made by my learned friend implies that she is not, that only Mr Simmons, the victim, is thus qualified.
I agree, Mr Elliot.
Thank you, my lord.
My lord, I don't concede the point, but perhaps I may return to it later. Mrs. Palmer, why were you out walking that evening?
No reason.
Ah, now here I beg to differ.
Beg all you like, my lad.
The date was November the 4th.
Oh, so they say.
Yeah, the day before Guy Fawkes Night.
That's a night to watch out for since they moved in.
They? Ah, I see. You mean that with all the fireworks and the bonfires and so on, things can get rather out of hand on the 5th of November. Sometimes even before the 5th, Mrs. Palmer. Sometimes even before the proper day.
I don't know about that, I'm sure.
I think you do.
I say I don't.
Is it not true, Mrs. Palmer, that on the evening of the 4th, some black children were playing with fireworks in the building where you live, dropping them down the stairwell and so on, generally making a nuisance of themselves? And isn't it true that when you came out to tell them off, you became extremely angry when they wouldn't take any notice of you? And so to stop them, did you not go and look for Constable Kershaw, whom you knew was on his beat in the area at that time?
Is that what happened, Mrs. Palmer?
They could have burnt the place down, your worship. Little black devils, they frightened the life out of my cat with them damn fireworks. She was half out of her mind. And when I went out to tell them off, they just loved the little...
So you did go out looking for Constable Kershaw?
Well, what's it matter why I was out? The fact is I was outside, and I did see them two young blacks beating up Mr Simmons.
Mrs. Palmer, you did nothing of the sort. You did not actually see the attack take place. I put it to you, Mrs. Palmer, that despite Mr Simmons' reticence, it was you who took him to the police. You insisted you went along to the youth club, and there, at the first opportunity, you instantly pounced on two boys and said that they were the men you fought with. You did all this, Mrs. Palmer, while in a furious rage against anyone black. And that is why I most seriously question the accuracy of your identification.
The case of the Queen versus Dempsey and Langham will be resumed tomorrow in the Crown Court. Who mugged 58-year-old Arthur Simmons on November the 4th last year? Simmons, who was physically unhurt but shocked, claims his attackers were black. Directly after the attack and the theft of his wallet containing £2, Mr Simmons was helped along to a policeman, Constable Kershaw, by Mrs Winifred Palmer, who saw the men come out of the alley where the mugging took place. He and Mrs Palmer went with Officer Kershaw to a local youth club run for the young black population in the area. There, both Simmons and Mrs Palmer picked out Colin Langham and John Dempsey as the assailants. They both deny the charge. Langham's defence counsel has just brought up the fact that Mrs Palmer was already furiously angry at the time of her identification. Angry at some black children who, a day before Guy Fawkes Night, had been throwing fireworks around the building where Mrs Palmer lived. Defence counsel ended his cross-examination by claiming the identification made by Mrs Palmer must therefore be treated with caution. The court has just started to hear the evidence of Constable Kershaw, the officer on duty that night.
As a result of information given to you by Mrs. Palmer and Mr. Simmons, you took them to the Kingston Beach Youth Club.
Yes, sir. You see, I have what they might call a thorough knowledge of that area. It's not the first mugging I have encountered. And I have found out that any crime involving the coloured fraternity in that part of Fulchester would be known about at the Kingston Beach Youth Club on the High Street.
Any crime, Constable?
Beg pardon, sir. Any crime involving a young person of the fraternity.
And what did you do then?
I requested permission from the youth club leader to interview the members on the premises.
Did you get it?
Yes, sir.
Go on, please.
Well, in the main hall there were about 50 young men and women, boys and girls, I should say. I asked for their assistance, explained I was looking for 2 young men, and requested their permission for Mr. Simmons and Mrs. Palmer to look at all the boys present, sir.
And did you get their permission?
Yes, sir.
Readily?
Although I say it myself, sir, I've worked with the colour fraternity for many years. I think they've come to trust me as a fair man over those years, sir.
And describe what then took place.
I asked the young ladies to leave the hall for a short time, and they did so. The young men remained and lined up along one wall. I then asked Mr. Simmons to accompany me along their ranks, and if he recognised any of the people that had robbed him, he was to reach out and touch them.
And did he?
He looked at each one carefully, sir. We'd passed 15 before we came to the accused, Langham. Mr. Simmons stopped, reached out, touched him on the shoulder. He said, "That is one of them, officer." We then proceeded up the line about another 5 or 6 places further on. He stopped and identified Dempsey in a similar manner, sir.
And where was Mrs. Palmer at this time?
She was just following behind, sir.
Did she verify Mr. Simmons' selection of Langham and Dempsey?
Yes, sir, most definitely so.
Did Mrs. Palmer make the identification of either defendant before Mr. Simmons?
Well, there was some hesitation over Dempsey, sir.
In what way?
Well, Mr. Simmons definitely stopped in front of Dempsey. He looked at him hard and it was, however, Mrs. Palmer who actually turned round and spoke first. She said, "That's the other one, that's him." I knew it was, Mr. Simmons replied.
I see. Then what did you do then, Constable?
I asked Dempsey and Langham to accompany me into a small private room adjoining the main hall, sir. There I asked them what they were doing between 8:30 and 9:10 that evening.
What were their replies?
Langham said, "What are you trying to do us for, you pig?" Dempsey said, "I have the right to call a solicitor if you intend to charge us." I repeated my question, stating I was merely interested to hear where they were.
And what did they reply this time?
Dempsey said, "With my girlfriend on the way here." Langham said, "Why do you always pick on me, Kershaw?" Well, on the strength of the identification made by the 2 witnesses, Mr. Simmons and Mrs. Palmer, I took them down to the station. They were cautioned and charged with robbery, sir.
Did they make any statement after being charged?
Yes, sir. Dempsey said, "You live to regret this, Kershaw. I want to ring my solicitor." Langham said, "This is victimisation. You always said you'd fix me one day."
Thank you, officer.
I am representing Mr. Dempsey, officer.
Yes, sir.
How long have you worked in this part of Fulchester?
8 years, sir.
And during all that time, has it been predominantly a coloured neighbourhood?
Pretty well, but more so in the last few years, sir.
8 years is a long time to have had one particular beat, isn't it?
Quite long, but it does happen in any division, sir.
You didn't mind not being moved?
On the contrary, I enjoy working there.
You get on with immigrants?
Yes.
They trusted you, you said?
I'm happy to think so, yes, sir.
The coloured fraternity?
Yes, sir.
Constable, I don't wish to quibble with everything you say, but when you refer to them thus, could you possibly mean the coloured community? Isn't that much the more usual term?
Well, maybe it is, sir, but I've always said coloured fraternity.
You see, why I bring it up is that in my experience, policemen usually refer to wrongdoers as the criminal fraternity. Sociologists usually say community when they're speaking of racial groups within society, and I wondered if, possibly unconsciously, you got the 2 phrases a little bit jumbled.
No, I don't think so, sir.
Have you ever used the word spade or sambo directly to the faces of some of the people resident in the area you patrol?
No, sir.
My client maintains that you have.
He is mistaken, sir.
Constable Kershaw, I'm not going to pretend that there is no tension between the police and the immigrant population of Fulchester, nor, I think, are you.
There's always some tension, sir. I mean, some troublemaker wants to stir it up in any area, black or white.
But if we're to believe your story of your entry to the Kingston Beach Youth Club on November the 4th and the cooperation you received in answer to your various polite requests, everything is rosy between you and the immigrants of Fulchester.
Well, not exactly rosy, sir, but there is cooperation.
With the Kingston Beach Youth Club in particular?
Yes, sir.
Despite the fact that you and several other members of your division raided the club 6 times during the last 2 years?
Not raided, sir.
Well, I don't know what else you'd call it. In May 1971, a search for drugs was carried out, 5 arrests. In April of 1972, a search for dangerous weapons, no arrests.
The club has its share of troublemakers, sir.
There was a riot there in June of last year when you tried to line everybody up for one of your periodic drug searches, wasn't there?
There was a minor disturbance caused by a handful of wrong-uns, sir, not a riot.
Is it not the case, Constable Kershaw, that when you went to the club on November the 4th, you obtained the so-called cooperation of the club by threatening to close them down forthwith, quoting all kinds of intimidating regulations such as fire risk, redevelopment planning, and downright plain harassment if they did not allow you in to look for the two muggers?
It is not the case, sir.
I wonder. What does black power mean to you, Constable?
Can mean trouble, sir.
Do you not see it in every afro hairstyle? In every black man wearing a dashiki or a woolly cap or pattern moccasins? In every manifestation, in fact, of a group of people who insist on retaining their own customs, their own mode of dress, their own culture?
Lord, the court has been most patient with my learned friend. Hopefully he will curtail this philosophical discussion with himself. But, my lord, there is no evidence to say that this officer has not carried out his unenviable duties to the letter.
My lord, in cross-examining this witness about the identity parade in which my client was detained, I find large gaps in credibility. I am questioning the circumstances in which this identity parade was held.
You weren't doing that, Mr. Fry. Rather, you were interrogating the officer on much more abstract matters, or so it seemed to me, at least.
If I might crave your lordship's indulgence for a few moments longer, I'm trying to understand the relationship this officer says he has with the immigrants of Fulchester, with whom he claims to be on friendly terms.
Yes, well, then do so as briefly as you can. We are sitting on a case of robbery, you know. We're not commissioned sitting on community relations.
I'm most obliged to your lordship. Constable Kershaw, do you or do you not have a short list of places you go to whenever a crime is committed on your beat in order to learn the names of those responsible?
Yes, sir.
Is the
Every policeman has one, or should have.
Yes. Is the Kingston Beach Youth Club one of those places?
Yes, sir.
In view of this fact, do you still maintain that you get the full cooperation of the club whenever you go there looking for criminals?
The members realise it's only a few tearaways that cause all the trouble. They want the police to get rid of them.
Do you or do you not have a short list of people you interview whenever a crime is committed in your particular area?
Yes, sir. Again, it's common police practice.
Is John Dempsey on that list?
No, sir.
No, he is not. For as you well know, Constable Kershaw, Mr. Dempsey has never been in trouble with the police in his life.
That's correct, sir.
Now, your admission that the club was on a short list explains why you were made straight away for the club when you learned of the attack on Mr. Simmons. And there you somehow secured this curious identification parade in which Mr. Langham was identified first by Mr. Simmons and then by Mrs. Palmer.
Yes, sir.
But when you got to Dempsey, it was Mrs. Palmer who spoke first.
Yes, sir.
But surely, Constable, you should have separated your two eyewitnesses. You should, in order to maintain police regulations, you should not have allowed Mrs. Palmer to see Mr. Simmons pick out the first suspect.
On reflection, yes, sir, but there was a lot going on at the time.
Well, not according to you, there wasn't. You say that everybody was being most cooperative. However, we won't tread that path again. On reflection, it would have been better to have split up your two eyewitnesses. You admit that.
However, both Simmons and Mrs. Palmer immediately and positively picked out Langham, sir. There's no question about that, and I think you'll find the youth club leader will bear that out.
When Mr. Simmons approached Mr. Dempsey, did you point at him and say, "Here is our revolutionary, he hates all white people, he's your man"?
I did not, sir.
I have evidence to the contrary, Constable.
My lord, I know this is rather irregular, but may I say something?
In view of the roasting that counsel has just handed out to you, I think you may have a minute, so long as what you say is relevant to the case.
Thank you, sir. My lord, members of the jury, I've been a policeman on the beat for 20 years. 8 of those years I've spent on duty in the immigrant area of Fulchester. Now, I'm not a saint. I'm not gifted with the patience of Job. I lose my temper like the next man. I know that to some people I'm a symbol of authority that they hate. Whenever anything goes wrong, even when someone complains about some government decision, I'm the one who has to suffer. It's always a lonely policeman on the dark street at night. He's the one who has to carry the can back. He's the one who always gets it in the neck. Yes, I've been angry with black people, but I've always tried to be fair. I'll defend the innocent, but I will arrest the guilty. Sometimes I've been wrong, but I've never tried to be wrong. I've always tried to be honest. On a patch like mine, you can't always go by the rule book. Sometimes you've got to compromise. You've got to turn a blind eye here to get something bigger elsewhere. You've got to employ the language of the street. And that's not the language your mother taught you. But despite what's being said here today, I do not hate black people. I like them. I believe in God, and I obey his laws, to trust everyone equal on their merits. I've always believed that, and I hope I always shall. Thank you, my lord.
Point is taken, Constable. I'm not for a moment suggesting that you have any hatred for black people. What I am saying is that your description of the identity parade shows that it was irregular and against normal police practice, and that you did not receive cooperation in setting it up.
That's not true, sir.
The selection of my client from this identity parade was a very botched affair, wasn't it?
No, sir, it was a positive identification.
Positive, Constable. But you said that Mr. Simmons stared hard at Mr. Dempsey. It was, however, Mrs. Palmer who actually spoke first, saying that's the other one, to which Simmons replied, I knew it was.
Mrs. Palmer was in a much better position to see Dempsey than the victim, Mr. Simmons, was. He said he was being held from behind during the attack, but he did recognise the smell of Dempsey's hair oil.
Do you recall a day in August last year when you and some of your colleagues broke up a so-called Black Power meeting at a house in Smith Street?
I remember being given a search warrant and detailed to search number 10 Smith Street for arms last summer. Yes, sir.
What movement was it, Constable? Home Rule for Shropshire?
No, sir. It was a black militant organisation.
Black Power. You must have come across the name.
I have, sir. But the organisation in question did not call itself that.
Did you not take the name of John Dempsey as being present at that meeting?
I was detailed to search. It was an inspector that took names, sir.
I see. Did you find any arms, by the way?
No, sir.
Then why were the names taken? I assume the meeting was peaceable, orderly.
I can't answer that, sir.
Can't or won't?
I can't, sir. I do not have the authority to ask the motives behind the actions of my senior officers, sir.
And you have no recollection of Mr. Dempsey at that meeting?
None, sir.
You have no recollection of him later?
None.
Well, returning to this so-called identity parade, we'd heard how Mr. Simmons first stopped at Mr. Dempsey, and then how Mrs. Palmer pointed him out as one of the men that you'd seen at the end of the alley.
That's correct, sir.
Who led this procession?
Mr. Simmons.
And where were you, Constable?
Just behind him, sir.
With Mrs. Palmer behind you?
Yes, sir.
And then you stopped at Dempsey?
Mr. Simmons did, sir.
During the entire performance of this parade, did you speak to anybody?
No, sir.
Not a word?
It is not in accordance with police training, sir.
Constable Kershaw, I put it to you that the unorthodox methods you have earlier admitted using were fully in display at this identity parade, and that far from keeping silent, you kept up a ceaseless barrage of remarks as you walked up the line with your two eyewitnesses.
I did not, sir.
And that when you got to Mr. Dempsey, you said, here we have our revolutionary. He'd like to beat up every white man he can find. He hates us all, our clever little intellectual. Take a good look. He's your man.
I didn't say any of that, sir.
Mr. Dempsey had an alibi.
His girlfriend.
Why did you discount it?
Because two unbiased witnesses swore they saw him take part in the attack.
Unbiased, Mr. Kershaw? Well, what would he have needed to prove that these two witnesses were mistaken?
More than the word of a girlfriend, sir.
Mr. Kershaw, had Mr. Dempsey been going to the youth club surrounded by the Everton Football Club, you would still say that their combined evidence was not enough to gainsay yours, wouldn't you?
I'm a keen supporter of Everton, sir.
The identification of Mr. Dempsey was surrounded by eccentric and irregular incidents, and it was by no means impartial, clear, or positive, as the law requires. I have no further questions of this witness, my lord.
According to your evidence, my client failed to give an alibi.
That's correct, sir.
Did he not say, I was here all the time ever since 8 o'clock?
No one in the club would swear that he hadn't left it for a short period, say 5 minutes, all the time it would need to go a few hundred yards, rob Mr. Simmons and get back to the club, sir.
Yes. Well, I put it to you that more than a dozen people backed up his story, but that you said, you're all bloody liars, the lot of you. You are born that way, and you marched Langham out.
That's not true, sir.
When you approached Langham in the lineup, did you not say, what about this one? He's a right little villain.
I did not, sir.
Constable Kershaw, have the police ever secured a conviction against Langham for robbery with violence or for stealing with the use of force?
No, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, officer. That concludes the case for the prosecution, my lord.
You may stand down, Constable Kershaw.
Thank you, sir.
Lord Vice, first witness for the defence is the defendant, John Dempsey.
What is your religion?
I wish to affirm.
Please read aloud the words on this card.
I do solemnly, sincerely, and truly declare and affirm that the evidence I shall give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
You are John Harold Dempsey of 67 Garfield Avenue, Fulchester.
Yes,
What is your occupation, Mr. Dempsey?
I'm a student,
How old are you?
19.
With whom do you live in Fulchester?
With my uncle, my parents are dead.
Did you, on the 4th of November last, attack Arthur Simmons in an alley known as Paradise Way and steal money from him?
I did not.
What were you doing between 8:30 and 9:15 on that night?
At 8:30, I was in a flat belonging to Linda Brown,
Who's Linda Brown?
a companion,
And where is this flat?
Jeffreys Road,
And how far is Jeffreys Road from Paradise Way?
3/4 of a mile.
Roughly?
No, precisely.
What did you do after 8:30?
At about 8:45, we began to walk round to the Kingston Beach Club.
Who did?
Linda and I.
No one else?
No,
Go on, please.
there isn't much more to go on about. I suppose we must have arrived at the club a few minutes after 9.
Do you know, are you friendly with the other defendant in this case, Colin Langham?
We know each other. We've seen each other at the club. I wouldn't say we were friends.
Would you describe what happened when you arrived at the club?
We'd been there about 10 minutes when Kershaw came in with 2 white people, Mr. Simmons and Mrs. Palmer.
Did you know either of them?
I'd never seen them before in my life.
Go on, please.
Tom Revy turned off the jukebox.
Tom Revy is the club leader.
Yes, Uncle Tom to his friends.
And just continue with your evidence, please.
Revy called out for everyone to stop talking. He said Kershaw wanted everyone to line up against a wall.
And what was your reaction to this request?
Humiliation, anger, frustration.
Did you know that you didn't have to comply?
I complied for the same reasons I've agreed in the past to stand up against a wall and be searched by Constable Kershaw.
And what were those reasons?
If one does not comply, life can become very uncomfortable.
In what way?
There are 1,000 ways a policeman can lean on you.
Did anybody else object to standing in this lineup?
Yes, there was a lot of complaining and shouting going on. But no one stood up on his rights, no.
What was your position in the identity parade?
I was about 20th. There must have been 30 of us all told.
Will you describe what happened, please?
The old man came first, and he looked scared, but Kershaw kept on telling him not to be afraid.
Did he say anything else?
As everyone in that lineup will tell you, he never stopped talking. I mean, he turned on like some master of ceremonies. Here we are, folks, he'd say to the old man and the lady. I know it's dark in here, but do your best. Black as the ace of spades, as you might say. They're all bent, this crowd, the lot of them. And he kept that up the whole time. When he saw me, his piggy little eyes shone like a light.
That will do, young man.
I'm sorry.
What occurred when they came to you, Mr. Dempsey?
Kershaw stopped the whole procession. Well, 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 he said. If it isn't our own revolutionary Sambo Lenin.
What,
himself.
if anything, did that mean to you?
Oh, I was impressed.
Impressed? Why?
To realize that Kershaw had actually heard of Lenin.
And then?
I knew what he was getting at. I'm a member of a local organization which works towards equal rights for black people.
Is this black power?
Mr. Fry, it would seem the entire white race is locked onto 3 cliches. Black power, black is beautiful, kill whitey. When a black man stands up and says, black power, he's saying, I want my freedom. But it isn't the monster that most people seem to think it is.
But would you say that Constable Kershaw suffered from this same disability?
He's white, isn't he?
And for these reasons he kept you under observation?
He told you about busting up that meeting of ours last August. He came looking for guns. For God's sakes, what are we, the mafia? he never got over not finding any.
Well, Constable Kershaw said that at no time did he have knowledge of you till November the 4th.
I heard him say that.
After the words you say he addressed you in the lineup, here we have our own revolutionary. What then?
He went on to say he wants to beat up all white folk. He's your one, he must be. And the 2 old ears who'd had to listen to this junk for the last 5 minutes finally gave in and said, yes, I was the one.
Thank you, Mr. Dempsey.
Mr. Sissons, do you wish to examine?
No, thank you, my lord.
Are you familiar with a periodical called Black March? Well, are you?
I have heard of it.
You've more than just heard of it, haven't you?
It's written by some people at the college.
You've more than just heard of it, Mr. Dempsey, because you've written for this magazine. Is that not right?
Yes.
Yes. I would like to quote a passage from this issue dated May of last year. Black liberation will never become effective or achieve any substantial victory until its members accept the fact that a state of war exists between them and the white majority. Members must be prepared to fight such a war at every level, not only with polemic and invective, but also with fists and weapons. Now, this war is not of our choosing. We fight for our rights and our liberty, and as such we have justice on our side. Therefore, my brothers, take the war into the streets. We need money. We need support. We need weapons. Get them. Don't bother about the ethics. Go out and get them. Take them from the people who hold us down. Disarm them. Remember Spartacus. This article is signed by John Dempsey. Did you write this? Did you?
Yes.
The case of the Queen versus Dempsey and Langham will be resumed tomorrow in the Crown Court. Who were the 2 men who mugged Arthur Simmons as he came home one night from the local public house? John Dempsey stands accused in Fulchester Crown Court with Colin Langham. They were picked out of an identity parade by Mr. Simmons, who, though shaken, was unhurt, and also by Mrs. Winifred Palmer, who saw 2 young black men running from the scene of the crime. Dempsey and Langham are pleading not guilty. Their defence counsel are claiming that the identity parade, arranged by Constable Kershaw at a local youth club shortly after the attack, was irregular and unfair. They have cross-examined Officer Kershaw and alleged that he prompted the witnesses to select Langham and Dempsey. The constable strongly denied this, and in a statement to court insisted he had no prejudice against the black immigrants of Fulchester, in whose area he's worked for 8 years. During the second day of the trial, defence opened its case by calling John Dempsey one of the defendants. Dempsey, a university student, has said that through belonging to a militant black organisation, he had been kept under surveillance by Constable Kershaw, who regarded him as a violent threat to white people in the neighbourhood. Opening his cross-examination, the prosecution caused a stir by reading out a magazine article written by Dempsey, which advocated the use of violence against all white people in order to get money, weapons, and support for their cause.
Mr. Dempsey, yesterday you admitted writing this article in this magazine.
I wrote it.
Therefore, my brothers, take the war into the streets. We need money, we need support, we need weapons. Get them. Don't bother about the ethics. Go out and get them. Take them from the people who hold us down. Disarm them. Remember Spartacus. Isn't this exactly what you and Langham were doing the night you robbed Mr. Simmons?
No, of course not.
No, there's no of course not to it. The crime for which you stand here accused exactly fits the activities you advocate in this article.
I would not call Mr. Simmons one of the people seeking to hold down the black race.
Why not? To quote your own words yesterday when you tried to incriminate Constable Kershaw, he's white, isn't he?
If I were advocating rebellion in that article, which I do not admit, then my targets were certainly not old men with at most £1 or £2 in their pocket.
You don't admit you were inciting rebellion here?
No.
Well, this is the most inflammatory and violently provocative piece of demagoguery that I've ever read.
Then you haven't lived.
You do better to keep your temper and answer the questions.
How can I do that if I don't defend myself?
I'm telling you to.
There is a great difference between preaching something and actually doing it.
I see, then this means nothing. It's just a bag of wind.
It's not to be taken literally.
And at heart, you're a simple, peace-loving man.
I'm not a thug.
Then why incite people in this way?
I was talking about a much wider issue in that article.
Yes, wholesale mugging rather than the isolated instance.
I was talking generally about a war between the races that exists at present both in this country and elsewhere. I wasn't telling anyone to go out and steal money from white people in the street. You can go on all day about that article, but you cannot change the truth of that.
In your answers to counsel yesterday, you referred to the club leader of the Kingston Beach Club, Mr. Tom Revy, as Uncle Tom. What do you mean by that?
Nothing.
Is he your uncle?
Don't be funny.
Oh, I'm not being funny. Tom Revy, the club leader, you said, then added Uncle Tom to his friends.
You know the meaning of that phrase?
Yes, I do. I wish to make it clear to the jury, however.
My defence tried to get Tom Revy to give evidence here about the way Kershaw handled that identity parade. He refused.
Yes, he refused. Now, the name Uncle Tom refers, does it not, to a fellow black who cooperates with white people, or who at the least accepts the government of white people without protest.
To an absurd degree. Who says anything for a quiet life, even to the extent of bootlicking.
And Mr. Revy, according to you, fits that description because he refused to give evidence on your behalf.
That's only part of it.
Yes, but it's the relevant part.
Relevant to what?
You've claimed that the officer ran the identity parade from which you and Langham were picked out in an irregular and illegal manner, even prompting the witness to select you and your colleague. However, the most responsible club member present, the club leader, has seen fit not to accept your version, and for his reluctance to agree to your lies about the officer's conduct, you label him an Uncle Tom.
I'm not blaming him. His job is to run the club. He wouldn't last 5 minutes if he rubbed the police up the wrong way.
November the 4th last, 8:30 in the evening. Now, you say you were with Miss Linda Brown in her flat.
Yes.
Anyone see you there?
If they had, they'd be here.
Similarly, on your alleged walk to the Kingston Beach Club, no one else saw you, no one who knew you.
Oh, just ask yourself this. If I were guilty and relying on Linda to supply me with an alibi, do you think I would have put forward this? She could have said I was with her from 7 on at the club. You would have had a field day making us all out to be liars. Why rely on a story any lawyer could drill holes through? Answer, because it happens to be the truth.
No, you couldn't rely on the youth club leader, Uncle Tom. That's why you didn't use the club as an alibi.
I see prosecution didn't call Revy.
We had no need to. The point is, he refuses to defend you. Now, I put it to you, sir, that you recruited Langham's help for this dastardly attack upon an old, sick man and you stole his money, £2. As for your reasons, I can only point to the words you admit writing, words which advocate violence by blacks against whites in order to raise money for your cause. You've been identified by 2 witnesses, Mr. Dempsey. No further questions, my lord.
You will return to the dock, Mr. Dempsey.
I call Linda Brown.
Linda Brown, please.
What is your religion?
I wish to affirm.
Please read aloud the words on this card.
I do solemnly, sincerely, and truly declare and affirm that the evidence I shall give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
You are Linda Brown.
Yes.
You live at flat 7, 86 Jeffreys Road, Fulchester.
Yes.
What is your occupation, Miss Brown?
I'm a model.
For clothes?
Yes, haven't you heard? Black is beautiful.
Indeed it is.
It also helps sell clothes to radical chick housewives. Although I think we're losing out to the Chinese. They're all the rage nowadays. As models, I mean.
Do you intend returning to the matter in hand, Mr. Frank?
Oh, indeed I do, my lord. Miss Brown, where were you at 8:30 on November the 4th last?
In my flat with John.
John Dempsey.
Yes.
And would you describe your movements between 8:30 and 9 p.m. that night?
John and I walked from my flat to the Kingston Club.
Were you with him the entire time?
The whole time.
And at the club?
The whole time.
And would you describe what you did at the club?
We dance. They've got a jukebox. The club itself is pretty straight, but they do have a few good records. The music's the only reason John and I went there.
The court has heard of Constable Kershaw's visit.
Visit?
What else was it?
It was a bust.
How do you mean?
I mean, Kershaw barged in and started shoving everyone around. The idea that he paid a visit. Well, you might as well say a burglar who turns over your house is just paying a visit.
In what way did he shove everybody around?
Oh, there is only one way.
Will you describe it, please?
He came into the main hall where most of us were. The club leader pulled out the jukebox plug, and Kershaw yelled for everyone to keep quiet. And then he told the girls to clear out.
What did you do?
I asked him why.
And what was his reply?
He didn't reply anything. He just spun me round and gave me a shove in the back. He grabbed hold of a couple of other girls and did the same, pushing us all towards a door leading into the corridor.
Did you see the identity parade?
No, he made sure of that. He slammed the door and locked it on his side.
What happened to the next time the door was opened?
John came out with Kershaw and Colin Langham. He told me to tell Kershaw where he'd been since 8:30.
Did you tell him?
Well, of course I did. I told him John had been with me the entire time.
And what was Constable Kershaw's reaction?
He said, "Pull the other one, dear. It's got bells on."
You're saying he doubted your word?
Well, not only mine. There were dozens of people telling him that Colin had been with him all the evening in the club.
Yes, Mr. Elliot. You must not tell us what other people are supposed to have said, Miss Brown.
Thank you, Miss Brown. Would you remain there, please?
Do you want to ask any questions, Mr. Simmons?
Well, no, thank you, my lord.
Miss Brown, do you like Constable Kershaw?
No.
Any particular reason, or are you just fashionably anti-police?
My lord, I object to that. My friend may ask the witness's personal opinion of the officer, but he has no right to offer his own opinion and present it as fact.
I thought anti-police sentiments among certain sections of society was a fact. However, Miss Brown, do you have a personal reason for disliking P.C. Kershaw?
Yes.
What is it?
I'm on his list, like John.
And what list is that?
You know perfectly well what list. His list of black people in the neighbourhood whom he victimises regularly every week.
You say Constable Kershaw has victimised you in the past.
I don't know what else you'd call it.
Call what?
I was once questioned by Kershaw for 3 hours because of this. It's an ordinary comb used by black people for their hair. Kershaw arrested me for possessing an offensive weapon. This.
Were you convicted of this charge?
No.
Were you even charged?
No, not even Kershaw and his cronies could make that stick.
I see, so you were not arrested. This 3-hour questioning, were there any witnesses?
Sure, about half a dozen.
Or with so many witnesses, you could have lodged a complaint with police authorities.
Oh, I could have done, but I don't think it would have done any good.
Why not?
They were all other policemen.
I see. Once again, we have only your word.
Aren't you gallant?
No, Miss Brown. Just suspicious when anyone flings around the word victimization.
Well, it's the right word in Kershaw's case.
Well, on the same basis, I could suggest that you are in turn victimizing the officer.
I'm telling the truth, damn you!
You will not use that kind of language in this courtroom.
Miss Brown, all we require is someone to substantiate your allegations against Kershaw. Now, you see, you have admitted to a dislike of him. You have, therefore, an interest in blackening his name.
And his face. If he were one of us, he might act differently.
Why do you think this officer victimizes you, Miss Brown? I mean, what have you ever done to merit such treatment?
I was born unwhite.
Oh, come on.
You know nothing about it.
There are something like 25,000 non-white residents in Fulchester. Now, are you telling this court that the officer victimizes all of them on account of their colour? All 25,000?
Only if you're young, intelligent, and if you don't like being treated either as children or imbeciles.
Do you share the views expressed by Dempsey in Black March magazine?
Yes.
About waging war with the white race?
Yes.
To get out in the streets and rob in order to get money for this cause?
He didn't write that.
Do you agree with the sentiments in this article?
Whether I do or not has no bearing on the fact that I was with John during the time you're trying to say he mugged the old man.
Well, the accuracy of that remark depends very heavily on how sympathetic you are to the defendant.
In other words, I'm a liar. Reprimand him, my lord.
He is entitled to suggest that.
Dear, you seem such a nice old gentleman.
Have any further questions, Mr. Elliot?
None, my lord. Thank you, Miss Brown.
You may stand down, Miss Brown.
I call Colin Langham.
What is your religion?
C of A.
Take the testament in your right hand and read aloud the words on the card.
I swear by Almighty God that the evidence I shall give in this court shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
You are Colin Langham of flat 16, Renshaw Buildings, Fulchester.
Please answer counsel, don't just nod your head.
Yeah.
Yes, what is your occupation?
I work in a laundry.
How old are you?
18.
See, and when did you leave school?
When I was about 15.
Now, you live with your parents.
Yeah.
Colin, did you attack and rob Mr. Simmons on the evening of November the 4th last?
No.
Where were you that evening?
At the club.
Mm-hmm. And what time did you go there?
About 8.
And did you leave the club for any length of time?
No.
You were there all the time?
Yeah, that's right.
I see. Now, what were you doing during the time you were at the club?
Played table tennis and watched the telly.
Yes. Were you with anyone in particular?
No.
Yes, but when you watched the television, you were not alone.
Oh, no. There were lots of people around.
I see. Now, coming to the moment when you lined up for Constable Kershaw.
Yeah?
Now, you didn't object to doing as he demanded.
Anything for an easy life.
Now, we've heard that Mr. Simmons picked you out.
Kershaw told him to.
How do you mean?
He called me a right little villain and said it had to be me.
You heard Constable Kershaw say this?
Everyone did.
I see. Did you ask any of your friends to back up your story about being in the club the whole evening?
Sure.
And what was the result of that?
I still got nicked.
Colin, do you know John Dempsey well?
I know him.
Well?
No. I mean, we don't have anything in common, do we? I'm no college boy.
No. Do you belong to any black militant organization?
No.
Have you ever belonged to one?
Never.
Thank you, Mr. Langham.
Mr. Langham, you were in the club all evening?
Yeah.
But with no one in particular?
Yeah, that's right.
So there's no one who can say that you didn't leave the club for, say, 10 minutes?
No.
It takes less than 2 minutes to run from the club to the place where Mr. Simmons was attacked, less than 2 minutes to run back again. Now, you could have robbed Mr. Simmons and been back within 5 minutes.
I never did, though.
Didn't you? Thank you, Mr. Langham.
That concludes the case. The defense, my lord.
You will return to the dock, Mr. Langham. Mr. Elliot.
If it please, my lord, members of the jury, let me simply, in summing up, say this. If you believe the defendants in this case, if you believe that during the lineup, Constable Kershaw kept up a running commentary of suggestions and innuendos directed at the two eyewitnesses, then you have no option but to believe also that Mr. Simmons and Mrs. Palmer are both guilty of perjury. But both of them have denied that the officer spoke during the identifications. Now, why should these elderly citizens lie? Now, is it not painfully obvious that the defense have called no witnesses from the Kingston Beach Youth Club because none could be found to substantiate these wild allegations? Now, without boring you with Dempsey's article again, let me select one sentence. We need money for the cause. Go out into the streets and get it. Members of the jury, is this not precisely what the accused were doing last November the 4th? Now, it's our view that based on the evidence presented before you, based on the positive identification of the defendants by two individuals, you must convict Dempsey and Langham of the offence with which they're charged. Thank you, my lord.
May it please your lordship, members of the jury. John Dempsey is accused of robbery on the evidence of two people, Mr. Simmons and Mrs. Palmer. Evidence that I submit is inconclusive. Mr. Simmons, by his own admission, never saw the man who held him from behind. And you will recall that he identified him only after he'd been picked out by Mrs. Palmer, and that this identification was based entirely on the scent of his hair oil, a hair oil that was being used by virtually every other male in the club at the time. In other words, Mr. Simmons did not identify him. So let us turn to Mrs. Palmer. Now, bear in mind that she never actually saw the robbery take place. Her first glimpse of the action came when she was almost knocked head over heels by two men running out of an alley. However, she maintains that she was able to study their faces closely whilst holding them at bay with her umbrella. Mind you, she also said that they were off round the corner in half a tick, but overlooking that contradiction, do you really see this little lady holding up two big men for even 5 seconds? Do you believe that she saw them long enough to identify them positively later on? Secondly, though I'm not saying that she's a bigoted woman, she was feeling resentful that evening. Some black children had been throwing fireworks about near her flat, and on her way to find a policeman, she came across an old friend who'd been robbed by some black men. So by the time she got to the youth club, she was seething with indignation against immigrants in general and hardly able to make an impartial or even an accurate judgment. For these two reasons, then, her evidence is suspect. As to the methods used by the policeman conducting this inquiry, you've heard the defendants and the witness, Mrs. Brown, describe how he prompted Mrs. Palmer and Mr. Simmons to pick out the two accused. And whilst we sympathise with Constable Kershaw in his difficult task and appreciate the sincerity of his motives, you heard him admit that the parade was not in accordance with police regulations, and that in the course of his duties he's often felt it right to use unorthodox methods in order to secure a conviction. Members of the jury, John Dempsey has no police record of any kind. His only error in the eyes of the police is that he once wrote an article in a college magazine supporting concerted action by coloured people in this country. Members of the jury, what student does not talk in such terms these days? It is absurd to infer from the romantic generalizations in that article that John Dempsey was planning to go out with a young boy he scarcely knew and rob Arthur Simmons of a paltry £2. In view of the inadequacy of the evidence against him, I submit that you are bound to accept the alibi given by Miss Brown and bring in a verdict of not guilty.
Mr. Sesson.
May it please your lordship. Members of the jury, many of the points concerning Mr. Dempsey made by Mr. Fry apply equally to my client, Mr. Langham. He was supposedly identified by Mr. Simmons, while Simmons was held in a grip known as a full Nelson. As has been demonstrated in this court, anyone held in such a grip, particularly by an assailant taller than he is unable to look straight in front of him. And yet, Mr. Simmons claims he looks directly at Langham as Langham stood in front of him rifling his pockets. Langham claims to have been at the youth club the entire evening. The prosecution says that during an absence of 5 minutes, he would have been able to leave the club, attack and rob Mr. Simmons, and then return. Members of the jury, you have seen my client, Colin Langham. Do you really believe that he could attack and rob an elderly man? I would remind you also of the cogent arguments put by my friend in regard to Mrs. Palmer's identification of Dempsey. In Langham's case, she corroborated Simmons' choice. But how could she do that? From seeing them during a scuffle that took place when they ran into her, a scuffle that took a few confused seconds. Furthermore, does this not seem a most unlikely partnership? My client himself has made the point that he has little in common with John Dempsey. I can only repeat what Mr. Fry has said. There is no evidence which ties in either of these men with the crime that was committed. And therefore, you must bring in a verdict of not guilty for Colin Langham.
Now, members of the jury, you will shortly retire to consider the evidence and to decide whether the two men before the court, Colin Langham and John Dempsey, did or did not attack and rob Mr. Simmons. Now, the defence do not dispute that the crime took place. There's only therefore one issue to debate. Were the authors of the crime Langham and Dempsey, or were they picked out in mistake for two other people? Or was only one of them involved, and not the other? Now, the prosecution have provided two witnesses who both say that they saw and identified Langham and Dempsey. One of them was the victim of the attack, and the other someone who saw the two attackers as they fled from the scene of the crime. Now, if you believe them, then you have no alternative but to bring in a verdict of guilty on both men. But if you believe that they had a good opportunity to see one of the defendants, not the other, then you must decide accordingly. If, however, you believe that their powers of observation were impaired sufficiently to make any identification doubtful, then again the defendants should be allowed the benefit of that doubt. Now, You may feel that there was more going on during the time of the identity parade than has here been stated. If there is any suspicion in your mind that these two men were picked out in irregular circumstances, then again you must give them the benefit of the doubt. But if the constable involved in these proceedings, Constable Kershaw, performed his duties as he said in court, then the identifications were made in accordance with the law's demand. Now remember that the prosecution must prove its case beyond all reasonable doubt. So if you have any doubt as to the guilt of these two men, then you must bring in a verdict of not guilty. I will now ask you to retire and consider your verdict.
All stand. The defendants will rise. Members of the jury, will your foreman please rise? Just answer this question, yes or no. Have you reached a verdict on both defendants, or once you are all agreed?
Yes.
In respect of John Harold Dempsey, do you find him guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty.
In respect of Colin Clive Langham, do you find him guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty.
John Harold Dempsey, Colin Clive Langham, you have both been found not guilty to the charges faced. You are free to leave the court.
Court will rise.
Next week, a chance for you to join another jury in assessing the facts when our cameras return to watch a leading case in the Crown Court.